Hi, I'm Miss Sims, and today we're going to be working on amigurumi. We will be making just a small animal to start. Some of the supplies that you will need are a ball of yarn, preferably light colored. You're going to need a yarn needle. You will need a pair of safety eyes, a stitch marker. I use a bobby pin, a G or an E or an F hook, and maybe a bigger one if you need it, and a pair of scissors and some batting today. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so to begin with, we are going to start with a slip knot. And on your crochet hook, you're going to want to chain 2. 1, 2. Now this is the hardest part. It's getting 6 single crochets inside the second chain from the hook. So there's 2 chains. You're going to put 1 in here, and then you're going to put a second one in that same hole, 2, another one, 3, 4 in the same hole. It's creating a circle. 5, and one more for 6. So now you have a circle. You just went and put 6 single crochets in the second chain. So now you have a circle. So I'm going to go on to the next stitch or the next round. And what you're going to do is you're going to put 2 single crochets in the next chain. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 1. But before I go on to the next stitch, I'm going to get my stitch marker and I'm going to mark where I started, because you won't be able to see where you start if you don't mark it. I like to use handy dandy bobby pin and just put it in the top of the first stitch. So I put 1 in that stitch. Now I'm going to put 2 in that stitch, and I'm going to put 2 in every stitch all around. The second thing I want you to notice is that I'm just putting it in the back loop only. Here's the V stitch, here's the back loop. So there's 1 stitch and 2 stitches. I'm going to go all the way around and put 2 stitches in each one. 1, 2, I'm going to show you an easy pattern to follow that I'm going to be following when I'm doing this amigurumi for you. So the first thing that we did was we chained 2, and then I put 6 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. The last row that I just worked, I put 2 chains in each, or 2 single crochets in each loop. So I just followed this pattern. I put 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 for a total of 12. The next row that I'm going to do is 2 in the first one, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and I'm going to end with a 1 when I get to the end of this. Then the next row I will increase again, and I will do 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1 until I get to the end. I will end with 1. And then I'll do the same. I'll keep increasing 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1 until I get the desired shape that I want. If I want to go bigger, I just have to increase 1 by each row. So this one would be 2 with 4 ones, 2 with 4 ones, and then so on and so forth. When I stop increasing, meaning stop doing the 2s, I just do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And then when I figure out how long I want it, I will decrease. So we'll get to that in just a moment. I just wanted to go over this simple, easy pattern with you. All right, we're going to go ahead and go on to the next round, and we're going to increase. First, take out our stitch marker. You're going to put 2 in the next chain. I'm going to put 1 first, and then we're going to put our stitch marker back in so we know where we start. I'm going to put another 1 in this one, and then I'm going to put 1 in the next chain. Then I'm going to do 2, and then I'm going to put 1 in the next chain. All right, so we went ahead and marked it up. Depending on how big I want my animal is how much I'm going to increase. So this one I'm going to do a little bit bigger. I'm going to add another stitch or two. This is one that I already made for you using a smaller hook. I went ahead and did the increase here. And then as you can see, I went down. Those are all the 1 stitches. I didn't do any increases here. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now I'm going to take out this stitch marker here and put in my bobby pin for a moment. Now, depending on how big you want your monster is how much you're going to increase or decrease, but I do want to show you how we're going to decrease. Now I ended on 2, 1, 1, 1. So here is my last stitch of the last row, and this one we're going to decrease first, and then we're going to do 1, 1, 1. So to decrease, you're going to insert your hook in the back stitch, pull through, stick your hook in the next stitch, pull through, yarn over, and pull all 3 loops. You just did a decrease. Now I'm going to put my stitch marker back in so I know where I started. Then I'm going to do 1, 1, 1. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and 3 single crochet. And I'm going to do another decrease here. I'm going to put my head in, pull through, put my head in the next one, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. There's your decrease. Then I do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. I'm going to do this all the way until I get to my stitch marker, and then we'll do another decrease row. I want to take a moment to show you how to put the eyes in our little critter. Grab your 2 eyes and your 2 bases. There's a pokey end, and then there's the bottom part which is going to mount it in there. Go ahead and choose a place to put your eyeball. There's one, and then your second one. Then you're going to grab the base to mount it in, and you're just going to push it down until you click it so that it's mounted in there nice and good. You don't want those eyeballs falling out. I'm going to do both of them. And there's your 2 eyeballs. So you want to do that before you stuff your critter and before you start getting so small that you can't fit your eyeballs in there anymore. I finished the last round with a decrease 1, 1. And so now I need to stuff it a little bit. So I'm going to pull over some polyfill. And this polyfill, you can buy it in the store. But this is actually a really cheap pillow from Walmart. And I just took the stuffing out of it. And I think it was like 99 cents or $1.99 for a big, huge pillow full of polyfill. So I'm just going to stuff this guy in here. And once you have it all stuffed in, nice and taut, then you're going to start to decrease again. So sometimes it kind of gets in the way. You'll have to cut some of that out. There's our little buddy right there. So my last decrease was a 2, 1, 1. Now I'm going to do a 2, 1. And I'll just get it started for you so you can see. And then we'll jump ahead. So here's 1 decrease. And then I'll put the next one 1. And I'll go all the way around until my very beginning. Can't forget my stitch marker. This is the last row of decrease, and I'm just going to show you my last decrease where I go into 2 at a time. So here's 1, and then another one. See if I can get it in. And then pull through all 3. So I've closed up my hole. I'm going to go ahead and leave a nice long tail. You always want to leave a nice long tail. I'm going to pull it out. I can also remove my stitch marker at this time and pull this out. And you can see there's a little hole here. So that's pretty easy to fix. All you're going to want to do is sew that in. You'll get your darning needle. Darning needles have, they don't have a hard point on them, so you're not going to stick yourself. So you'll just want to go under, through both, and then over, and then close it up, under, and then over. The cool thing about these guys is you really don't have to tie a knot anywhere. I'm just going to poke it all the way through and bring it all the way up here. Look through the entire thing and go ahead and cut as close as you can, and then it just disappears. So there's our little, almost looks kind of like a ghost from Pac-Man. There's our little guy. So I'm going to put him off to the side here, but I wanted to show you how you can do an appendage. The appendage that I did, I'm just going to put here, and I will show you how you can do an ear, or you could do a flipper. I'm going to do this one as a flipper, but I'm going to show you how to get this one started, and then we will go ahead and sew one on for you. So as far as the appendage goes, you're going to need more yarn, and you do it exactly the way you started the other one. So slip knot, chain 2, 1, 2, put 6 in the hole, 1, 2, so that's as big as I want my circle. So I'm no longer going to increase, meaning I don't want to put 2 into any of them. I'm just going to put 1 into each stitch. So I'm going to take out my stitch marker, and so I know where I started. I'm going to go ahead and put 1 in here, and I will have 12 stitches all around. And put the stitch marker back in, so I know where I started, and then I'm just going to put 1 in each one. When I start putting 1 in each one, that means I'm building. So, and the one flipper that I already did, I think I did 5 or 6 rows of 1 to build, and I'll show you what that looks like again. You can already see that because I'm only putting 1 in it, it's already starting to turn inward. Like it looks like a little cap for my finger. And you want to do these nice and tight. Not so tight that you can't fit your head in here, but you want it nice and tight so you don't see the stuffing on the inside. If you do a darker colored yarn, you will definitely see the inside if you have a loose stitch. I like to do white yarn or lighter yarns because you can see the stitches. Anything black, it's going to be hard for you. So you can see there's 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows. And I'm going to do it again. Take out my stitch, put it back in. And then put it right back in. I always like to keep an eye on that. So I'm going to do 5 more rows of that. And when I'm done with that, if I just flatten it out, I get an appendage here. If I kept going around in a circle, I could actually build a long arm. I'm not going to stuff this one because it really doesn't need any stuffing. You could, but you might want to do it a little bit bigger. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is how to stitch it onto your little guy. This is the last stitch in this yarn, in this one. I'm going to make a short little fin here. The last thing you want to do is a slip stitch. And so you just put your head underneath, you pull through both of the stitches, and then you're going to pull this through to kind of tie it off. Now notice I left a nice long tail. We're going to want to use that so that we can sew it onto our little guy here. I'm going to cut this tail off, the one from before, because it's going to get in our way and we're going to be angry if it gets in our way. So now I'm going to take our darning needle, and see how I have these ridges on here? I did that for a purpose so when we decided we wanted to sew it on, we only have to go through these parts here, and that way it's much easier to sew things on. So, sewing. I'm going to go ahead and figure out, I'm going to put this little wing tip here. All right. Then I'm going to go through both sides of this so it will not be open, and pull it in through the next one. And it'll straighten out here for you. So go down through the next one and come up into that little ridge, pull tight, go down to the next one, under the ridge and up, pull tight, down through the loops, up the ridge, can't see that one too good, pull up, and then one last time, and then this way. So this part right here kind of bugs me, it's kind of sticking out. So what I will do is I will be sneaky, and I'm just going to go through this to this side, and I'm going to do some sewing this way. So I use this one, I'm going to go to this one, and then I'm going to go down just so that I can hide that little bump that is not sitting well with me. So you can see that he's got a little appendage here. Almost kind of looks like a flipper to me. All right, there's no need to do any tying off. As long as you're not pulling on his appendage, you're really not going to need to tie it. So I just kind of stick it through, pull through the other side, and cut. And there's one side. The last thing we're going to do is add a mohawk to our little friend here. So I did take a slip stitch here, loop, and put it on my hook. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of dig in here, find the middle of him, and stick this through. Oops, that's the wrong tail. I'm going to pull it through, both of them. Pull it through here. So now I'm on our little critter. Move this guy out of the way, and what I'm going to do is just going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's only 4, and to me that doesn't look like a long enough mohawk, so I'm just going to keep chaining 5, 6, 7, 8. And so if that looks okay. I think I want him a little more loopy, so I'm just going to chain some more. 9, 10, 11, 12. So I did 12 chains to do one loop on here. Oh, he almost looks like a unicorn. How cute. Or a narwhal. So I'm going to go into the next one here and just go ahead and put my whole hook underneath, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. So basically what I just did was I did a single crochet through here. So I'm going to do another chain. So I did 12 for the last one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I'm going to put it in here. Go under both, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. And so I did a single crochet. And so basically what I'm doing right now is he's getting a little mohawk. Now I like to play around with fun yarn to do this, so you can't really see where I put it in. This is the fun yarn that I wanted to do, but I wanted you also to be able to see how it was going in and out of the top of his head. This is the final project here. I wanted to show you his cute little mohawk, and I was kind of playing around with it and just moving one. It's kind of cute. Play around with it. Anyways, I did want to show you how to put a mouth on it, and what I did was I drew a longer piece of yarn, and what you do is you go through the back and you decide, oh, where do I want to put it? So I'm going to come out this way, and I'm going to go at an angle here and go through down, kind of like a triangle. So I'm going to go this way at an angle, go through, and then come down at an angle. And then up this way, and then come down again. This way, and come down. And then I think that's enough, so I'll just take this and pull through the back. And pull this here so you can see it just a hair, and then I'll cut. You can see where I started it here, but I can pull that out too and cut, and he disappears inside. And so now our little monster has a mouth as well. And that's it. There's our little guy.